Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to our YouTube channel Biography Podcast, your ultimate destination for inspiring stories of remarkable individuals throughout history. We bring their journeys to life in every video. Join us as we unlock the secrets, challenges, and world leaders to pioneers, artists to innovators, triumphs of the most influential figures who shaped our world. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, so let's start the Biography Podcast video.
Okay, so you're looking to really get your head around the big ideas, the complex stuff, right? But honestly, who has endless hours for all the reading?
Exactly. That's what we're here for.
Welcome to the deep dive. We pull out the core insights, the things you actually need to know so you can understand these big topics without getting totally lost.
And today, it's Stephen Hawking. We're using the material you sent over, really digging into his life, his work.
Yeah, the mission today is pretty clear. Understand this absolute giant of science, his impact, his ideas, but, make it accessible.
And looking at the material, what jumps out is just this incredible mix of, sheer brain power and this extraordinary personal journey he went on.
Right, so we'll trace that. His early life, education, then the theories that really shook up cosmology.
And his legacy, how he's still influencing things today. The goal is to really grasp the heart of what made him so revolutionary.
Okay, let's do it. Start at the beginning, his birth.
Stephen William Hawking, born January 8th, 1942, in Oxford, England.
And here's that amazing detail, that date. January 8th. It's exactly 300 years after Galileo died.
Yeah, apparently Hawking himself knew that, mentioned it. It does feel kind of symbolic, doesn't it? Like passing a torch in physics.
Totally. Sets a certain tone. What about his family?
Well, his father, Frank, was a medical researcher. His mother, Isabel, worked as a secretary. He had siblings too, Philippa and Mary, his sisters, and a brother, Edward.
So an environment where thinking and learning were probably valued.
Seems likely. He went to St. Albans School, and that's where his interest in science, especially maths, started to really take root.
Though the sources say he was like a quiet kid, not top of the class initially.
Right, which is interesting. Makes you think about what was going on inside his head, sort of quietly processing everything.
Yeah, exactly. Then he heads off to University College, Oxford, studies physics.
And even though he apparently wasn't totally sure about his direction at first, he still pulls off a first-class degree in natural science in 1962.
That definitely says something about his underlying ability, right? It just needed to find its focus.
Absolutely. And that degree was his ticket to Cambridge, Trinity Hall, for postgraduate work.
Right, studying theoretical physics, cosmology, specifically the study of the universe's origins and how it evolved.
And his supervisor there was Dennis Sciama, a well-known cosmologist himself. This Cambridge period was crucial. He started tackling the big questions. Where did the universe come from? What are black holes?
And then, just as he's starting this, 1963, he's only 21, the ALS diagnosis hits.
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It's a brutal neurodegenerative disease. It affects the nerve cells that control your muscles.
Just devastating. And the prognosis back then, the doctors gave him what, just a couple of years?
Incredibly bleak, yes.
Yeah.
But he just completely defied those expectations. Lived for over 50 years more.
It's astonishing. How did the disease progress for him?
Well, much slower than predicted, thankfully. But yeah, over time, the physical challenges mounted. He became reliant on a wheelchair and eventually lost his natural speech.
And had to use that famous computerized voice system.
Exactly. You really can't talk about his science without acknowledging that side of it, the sheer resilience it took.
It became part of his identity almost. This brilliant mind exploring the universe from within a body that wouldn't cooperate made his work feel even more profound somehow.
Definitely. So, okay, let's dive into that work. Black holes seem like the obvious place to start, right? That's what he's maybe most famous for.
For sure. What were the key breakthroughs there?
Well, a big one was his collaboration with Roger Penrose in the 70s. They used Einstein's general relativity, gravity is curved space-time,
right,
to show mathematically that singularities must form inside black holes. These points of infinite density where physics breaks down.
Okay, so confirming that theoretical idea from general relativity, but Hawking took it further, didn't he? He brought in quantum mechanics.
And that was the game changer. See, general relativity describes the big stuff, gravity. Quantum mechanics describes the tiny stuff, subatomic particles. They don't usually play well together.
The holy grail of physics, unifying them.
Exactly. And Hawking made a huge step.
Yeah.
In 1974, he proposed something radical. He said, due to quantum effects right near the edge of a black hole, the event horizon.
The point of no return.
Precisely. He argued black holes aren't completely black. They should actually emit particles, radiation.
Whoa, so they leak. That sounds completely counterintuitive. We think of them as cosmic vacuum cleaners.
Right. This became known as Hawking radiation, and the implication was massive.
Yeah.
If they radiate, they lose mass, they lose energy.
They could eventually just evaporate, disappear.
Over incredibly long time scales, yes. That was the idea. It completely challenged the notion that nothing escapes a black hole. And it was this amazing bridge between general relativity and quantum theory.
Incredible. But he didn't stop at black holes. He also looked at the very beginning, the Big Bang.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, working with Penrose, he applied similar mathematical ideas from general relativity, but this time to the universe as a whole.
What did they find?
They showed that if general relativity is correct, the universe itself must have begun from a singularity. Just like a black hole in reverse, almost.
So providing really strong theoretical support for the Big Bang model, this idea that the universe started super hot and dense and has been expanding ever since.
Exactly. It argued against the old steady state idea that the universe was eternal and unchanging.
And he explained all this in A Brief History of Time, didn't he? That book was huge.
Phenomenal bestseller. Came out in 1988, made cosmology, black holes, the Big Bang, the nature of time itself, accessible to millions. He had this real talent for clear explanations.
He really did. And in that book, he also talked about something called the no boundary condition. Sounds pretty complex.
It is a bit mind-bending. The idea basically is that the universe might not have a beginning edge in time or any boundary in space either.
How does that work? Like no starting point?
Kind of. Think about the surface of the Earth. You can travel all over it, but there's no edge. You fall off, right?
Yeah.
It's finite, but unbounded. The no-boundary proposal suggests something similar for the universe in space-time. It implies that maybe time itself emerged from a quantum state, so you wouldn't need a cause before the universe began.
So the universe could just be self-contained.
That's the sort of philosophical implication, yeah. It suggests the universe might not need an external creator or cause.
Fascinating stuff. And that led to more work, like the Hawking-Hartle wave function?
Yes, he developed that with James Hartle. It's essentially a mathematical description, a way to describe the quantum state of the entire universe.
The whole universe as a quantum wave.
In a nutshell, yes. The aim was to create a model of the universe that didn't depend on assuming some initial conditions or starting point. It leans into that idea of a universe that could potentially pop into existence spontaneously from like a quantum vacuum.
Wow. From the tiniest quantum effects to the entire cosmos. He covered it all. And as we said, he was brilliant at sharing it. A Brief History of Time wasn't his only book, right?
Oh, not at all. He wrote quite a few popular science books. The Universe in a Nutshell came out in 2001, kind of expanding on the first book, often with more illustrations.
Making it even more accessible.
Yeah. Then there was The Grand Design in 2010, co-written with Leonard Mlodinow. That one tackled the universe's origin and even philosophical questions about whether a designer or God is needed.
Tackling the big questions head on.
And he also wrote an autobiography, My Brief History, in 2013, giving more personal insights.
And beyond the books, he really embraced popular culture too, didn't he? Like guest spots on TV shows.
Absolutely. He showed up on The Simpsons, Star Trek, The Next Generation, even The Big Bang Theory.
That's pretty cool for a theoretical physicist.
It really is. It shows he understood how to reach people, how to spark that interest in science way beyond academic circles. He used his platform.
And that platform came with a lot of recognition from the scientific world too. Awards, honors.
Oh, tons. The list is long. Copley Medal, Presidential Medal of Freedom. That was just before he passed, actually. Wolf Prize in Physics, Albert Einstein Award.
Heavy hitters.
Definitely. Plus, being a fellow of the Royal Society, member of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, these signal huge respect within the scientific community.
Now, shifting a bit, the sources also touch on his personal life. His first marriage to Jane Wilde.
Yes, they married in 1965, fairly soon after his diagnosis, actually. They had 3 children, Robert, Lucy, and Timothy.
And they divorced later in 1995.
They did, but the accounts suggest they managed to stay on good terms, remain close, which is quite something after everything.
He then married again to Elaine Mason.
Yes, in 1995, the same year his divorce from Jane was finalized. That marriage also ended in divorce in 2006.
So personal complexities alongside the immense physical challenges, yet the descriptions always mention his personality.
Right, his wit, his humor, often self-deprecating, his charm, this kind of core optimism. Despite everything, he seemed to find joy. He became this incredible symbol of, well, overcoming adversity.
Absolutely, a symbol of the power of the human mind. And even later in life, as his health inevitably declined, he kept working.
Amazingly, yes. He continued to contribute, publish papers, engage with physics right up until his later years. The intellectual drive just didn't quit.
That's truly remarkable. He passed away on March 14th, 2018. He was 76.
And the reaction was just immense, wasn't it? Tributes poured in from all over the world, from scientists, leaders, ordinary people. It showed just how much impact he'd had.
So when we try to sum it all up, what's the core legacy of Stephen Hawking? What are the big takeaways?
Well, scientifically, it's profound. He fundamentally changed how we think about black holes, about time itself, about where the universe came from. His work laid groundwork we're still building on.
Bridging general relativity and quantum mechanics.
That attempt, yes. Hawking radiation was a key step. But beyond the physics, there's the inspiration factor. His life story is just this incredible testament to human willpower and intellect triumphing over physical limitations.
It's that unique combination, isn't it? World-changing science, plus this ability to connect with millions, to explain it, to inspire them.
Exactly. He wasn't just a brilliant scientist locked away. He was a brilliant communicator, too. Very few manage both at that level.
So he leaves behind this huge body of work that physicists are still grappling with.
And this enduring image of human potential, of what curiosity and determination can achieve, even when things seem impossible. His life is just a powerful reminder, really.
A reminder of the power of the human spirit, maybe. So as everyone listening thinks about Hawking's story, maybe the thing to reflect on is how one person's deep curiosity, their sheer refusal to give up despite facing unbelievable challenges, could literally change how we see the entire cosmos.
Yeah. It makes you wonder about the limits of discovery and the potential hidden inside all of us, doesn't it?
It really does. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.